Hello everyone, welcome again to the channel. Thank you so much for watching my videos and welcome in today's episode. Everyone talks about an upgrade, but crescendo, that was a paradigm shift. Now in today's video, I'm going to be discussing why the crescendo hard fork was so special and it took a lot of work to get the crescendo hard fork successful. Now this is something that was avoided by the Bitcoin community. We know that Bitcoin can't scale, and without the hard fork, we know exactly what is going to happen to the Bitcoin network. Nothing is going to scale. Now let's start with this tweet from Coin Athlete, who says, Bitcoin can't scale without a hard fork, and a hard fork will not happen because it is the only flawed justification for why Bitcoin is the most secure and immutable network. Lightning Network can't be used as a scaling solution for Bitcoin. It is only a matter of time before retail, builders, and crypto in general understand how unique Kaspa is. Keep in mind that it is proof of work, the same proof of work that was replaced by proof of stake, creating an untrue narrative by the press, and you are following KOLs. Now, this is exactly true because we know exactly for Bitcoin to be able to scale, they have to do a hard fork, something that has been avoided. But Kaspa managed to do it, and it did it smoothly and without any flaws. So let's take a look at one of the co-developers who is called Michael Satan. He showed the hard fork, and he said, perhaps the forgotten, inherently unnoticeable part of Crescendo was that it activated flawlessly, a consensus system shifting gears to race car model in real time with worldwide coordination. We did everything we could deliver, and we delivered. In a world where consensus systems are stuck in their safe zone, the importance of such smooth upgrades cannot be overstated. It allows us to look into the future without fearing progress that is essential for Kaspa's real destiny. The activation or acceleration moment is shown in the video. Credit for this smooth moment goes to many people, but I must single out Codev staff and Ori Newman for taking the lead on multiple fronts and making this happen. In Coda's words, I hate failing, so I couldn't let us fail. So this is a very, very important tweet because there's something that he said about looking into the future and how Kaspa is going to learn from this big upgrade into how it's going to be integrating more and more upgrades. So he said it allows us to look into the future without fearing progress. So this is something that has limited Bitcoin. Bitcoin cannot do a hard fork because that is the only justification they have for being secure and immutable, because no one has ever changed the code. Nothing has ever been done on the Bitcoin network. But I think Kaspa has managed to step in and do the progress that most of the cryptocurrencies, most of the networks are afraid to do, and it did it flawlessly, but it took a lot of hard work. We also have a tweet from Codev staff who said, all this is to say that the smooth transition is no accident. It was built on several days and nights of engineering excellence, and on my end, maybe 2 to 3 bags of dark coffee beans. So this reveals how much energy, how much effort, how much attention to detail it really took to implement the Crescendo hard fork. Okay, on May 5th, we did not see any flaws. It was a smooth transition from 1 block per second to 10 blocks per second. But behind the scenes, just believe that it took a lot of work from these people who dedicated their time to make this happen. So congrats to everyone who participated. I know it's already almost 2 weeks, and I think most of the people have already forgotten about what happened with the Crescendo hard fork. But let me remind you that Crescendo hard fork is one of the biggest upgrades that we were expecting. So in this tweet from Michael Satan, who also said Crescendo was unique in a way that it touched the very foundation of everything, of how a peer-to-peer network works. That carried some inherent uncertainty remained compared to testnets. In that sense, I believe almost any other change is easier. So the Crescendo hard fork laid the very foundation for everything. So going from 10 blocks per second to 30 blocks per second to 100 blocks per second is going to be easier than going from 1 block per second to 10 blocks per second, in my understanding. So someone asked, so even 10 to 30 blocks per second would be easier. Now a reply from Michael Satan, who is the co-developer of Kaspa, is really interesting, and he said it's only easier because we've done such a switch already. As I have said multiple times, I still need to be convinced about actual utility of such an increase versus, for instance, 3 times larger blocks. It seems that we already have decent parallelism. So for Kaspa to go from 10 blocks per second to go to 30 blocks per second, I think MicroStrategy and other code developers, they have to be convinced about the actual utility of such an increase. So we moved from 1 block per second to 10 blocks per second. At least we have to see the need for such utility. The need to go from 10 blocks per second to 30 blocks per second. And I believe that need for utility is coming, and there's going to be a race in people wanting to use Kaspa. So we also have the same concerns from Aviv Zohar, who is the co-author of the Ghostag protocol. He is the co-founder with Jonathan Soboleski in founding Kaspa, and he said, I don't think you'll need much faster rates than 10 blocks per second. It doesn't decrease confirmation times by much. It might just be better to scale the block size to increase transactions per second. There are lots of things that are batched at the block level which would improve. So one of the replies from Michael Satan, he also explained on why there's a need to add more blocks, like what is the importance of more blocks per second. So he said, I agree that user responsiveness, time to inclusion in DAG is meaningless under 100 milliseconds. However, in a realm of smart contracts and MEV, there are other possible benefits from increased block concurrency. So we also have another input from Shai, who is the co-researcher, and he said, as Michael said, the motivation for high blocks per second is not throughput but high parallelism for MEV resistance via actions. If we increase to 100 blocks per second, we will probably reduce block sizes to keep things manageable. Huge motivation for high block rates is to keep mining hardware entry barriers affordable as the network grows. So if you follow conversations from these big minds, I think it is very, very interesting. So we also have another post from CryptoKid who said, Bitcoin was originally invented to become peer-to-peer trustless cash, not a digital gold store of value. Right now, it is impossible for the Bitcoin network to run millions of transactions per day. How can we overcome this problem? I think most of the people are looking for solutions that Kaspa has already fixed. And I said, Kaspa fixed it all. There, Bitcoin cannot scale, Kaspa can scale. So why not choose Kaspa instead of Bitcoin? So this is something that people have to gradually accept. It's going to take time, of course, but people are eventually going to find out about Kaspa. So we also have this tweet from one of the Bitcoin maxis who was trying to trash Kaspa. Way Mara Holdings mines Bitcoin cost competitively. Did you know that they mine a shitcoin called Kaspa, sitting at minus 1.3 million of losses, going to take 213 blocks of marginal 6.3k JPEGs to offset a single poor business decisions. But who does that at all? Kaspa lol. Hating on Kaspa, maybe they could be supporting and promoting Kaspa because it's a fellow proof of work, it's a fellow decentralized cryptocurrency, and it is much better than Bitcoin. So people are going to find out eventually, but it's going to take a lot of time for them to accept. So I have one comment from Wolfie who said, I sympathize with Bitcoin maxis to an extent. I started mining Bitcoin in 2011 when it was $7. So I have heard of every new next Bitcoin since then. However, got to be careful not to paint yourself into a corner with boy who cried wolf syndrome. Eventually someone is going to be telling the truth. In this case, it's Kaspa. Not that it will replace or be the next or new Bitcoin. It simply finishes what Satoshi started. Orange is great for digital gold, store of value, fast move advantage, ETF exposure, brand recognition. Orange sucks, however, at actually transacting. This is very, very obvious, and I think most of the Bitcoin community, most of the Bitcoin maxis know exactly that Bitcoin sucks when it comes to transacting. So therefore, simultaneous 100 millisecond blocks decentralized Nakamoto consensus opens up new possibilities for digital ledger technologies that Bitcoin will never learn. It's impossible. Instead of bus every 10 minutes to pick up transactions, Kaspa has 10 Ubers taking transactions every second. It's simply progress of technology that open-minded people embrace. So I think the people who understand that Kaspa is not here to overtake Bitcoin, it's not here to replace Bitcoin, it's not here to become the next Bitcoin. It is here to finish on what Satoshi Nakamoto started. And once people open their minds and stop being, religious when it comes to crypto, like I am a Bitcoin person, I cannot learn about anything else. I think that's when people are going to understand what Kaspa is. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And if you like the video, don't forget to hit the subscribe, don't forget to hit the like, don't forget to share, comment as much as you can, and see you in the next episode.